My dear brothers and sisters, this Wednesday morning, the 5th of November, greets us like a new sunrise, soft yet strong, gentle yet commanding. It whispers to our hearts, "Rise again, beloved child of God." And so we rise, not in our own might, but in the power of grace that never runs dry. For every week that unfolds before us is a blank page, and today we lift our pens in prayer, asking the divine author to write his wisdom into our story. We pray, God, give me strength to walk through this week with courage, patience to face what comes, and grace to keep my peace in the storm. My dear beloved, strength is not the thunder that rolls across the sky, nor is it the loud clashing of swords in battle. Strength, real strength, is quiet. It moves in the stillness of the soul, in the sacred whisper of one who chooses faith over fear. It is not always seen, but it is always felt. And today, as this Wednesday dawns, I want you to know there is a mighty strength living within you, one that the world did not give and cannot take away. When the burdens of life weigh upon your shoulders, when the days stretch long and the nights feel lonely, remember this: strength is not about how loud you can shout, nor how quickly you can move, nor how much you can carry. Strength is about how deeply you can trust. It is born not in the body, but in the spirit. And oh, what a spirit you have, child of God, a spirit carved from divine light and wrapped in the mercy of heaven. Many of us have been taught that strength means we never cry, that we must always smile, always stand tall, always keep moving no matter what. But I tell you, that is not strength. It is exhaustion dressed as courage. True strength is when you allow yourself to feel, to bend, but not to break. It is when you fall to your knees, not in defeat, but in prayer. When you say, "Lord, I don't know how I'll make it, but I trust that you do." That is strength. That is grace in motion. Strength is waking up each morning when the world feels heavy, yet you choose to hope again. It is forgiving those who never said, "I'm sorry," loving those who may never love you back, and believing in tomorrow even when today has bruised your heart. Strength is not found in the clenched fist. It is found in the open hand, ready to serve, ready to bless, ready to build. You see, fear will always whisper in your ear. It will tell you that you're not enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. But strength, real, divine strength, speaks louder. It reminds you that even when your voice trembles, even when your steps falter, even when your heart breaks, the spirit within you stands tall. God does not measure your strength by your perfection, but by your persistence. Every time you rise after falling, every time you smile through tears, every time you choose kindness over anger, faith over doubt, peace over panic, you are walking in strength. And the heavens take notice, the angels gather and sing, because one more soul has remembered its power. There is a strength in you that storms cannot shake. You might feel tired, yes, but your spirit has seen battles before. It has survived heartbreak, disappointment, and loss. It has endured the silence of waiting and the noise of chaos. And still, here you are, breathing, hoping, becoming. That is the fingerprint of divine strength. Subtle but eternal. So when fear comes knocking, don't you run and hide. Stand tall in your truth. Look fear in the eye and say, "I have survived worse than you." For the God who formed you in the secret place has placed inside you a well of power that never runs dry. Drink from that well, my child. Drink deeply. Let the living water of faith fill your soul until your trembling becomes stillness and your doubt turns into dance. There is beauty in being broken and rebuilt by God. There is glory in the scars that remind you not of your weakness, but of your healing. Every tear that has fallen from your eyes has watered the soil of your strength. Every trial has been a lesson. Every loss has been a doorway to something sacred. Strength is not in the outcome, it is in the endurance. It is not in how fast you reach the mountain, but in how faithfully you keep climbing. God does not rush your growth. He builds it slow and steady, like the rising of the sun, imperceptible at first, but unstoppable in time. And when you can no longer walk, strength carries you. When your voice fails, strength speaks through your silence. When the world forgets your name, strength remembers who you are, a child of the Most High, designed for victory, destined for light. My friend, do not be ashamed of your weary moments. Even the strongest trees sway in the wind, but their roots remain. Let your roots sink deep into faith, for it is there that real strength begins, not in the noise of the world, but in the quiet knowing that God is still in control. There will be days when you feel like giving up. There will be moments when you think you've reached your end. But remember, you are not standing alone. The same hands that shaped the stars hold you. The same voice that called light into being whispers courage into your soul. You were never meant to carry this world alone. Strength does not mean walking without help. It means trusting that when you stumble, grace will catch you. So lift your head, beloved. The weight you feel today is not your undoing, it is your becoming. Every struggle is a rehearsal for your next miracle. Every challenge is chiseling away what is weak to reveal what is divine. You are not losing, you are learning. You are not failing, you are forming. You are not breaking, you are being remade by holy hands. Let this Wednesday be your turning point. Let it be the day you no longer confuse endurance with emptiness. Let it be the day you see that strength is not about control, it is about surrender. Surrendering your plans to God's will, your fears to His promise, your doubt to His truth. You are stronger than you think because the one who strengthens you never sleeps. His power flows through your veins like sunlight through stained glass, shining even in the cracks, especially in the cracks. So go forth this day with your head high and your heart steady. Walk through this week not as one defeated by trials, but as one refined by them. Speak softly. Love fiercely and trust completely, for the same God who woke you up this morning will walk beside you until the night falls, and even then His light will guide you home. Guidance, my beloved, is one of the most precious gifts we can ever ask of the Lord. It is the lamp to our feet when the path grows dim, the whisper of truth when the world grows loud, the gentle tug of grace that keeps us from wandering too far. In this great journey called life, we are all travelers walking through valleys of decision, mountains of confusion, and crossroads that test the soul. But oh, how blessed we are to serve a God who never leaves us to wander alone. Each new week comes like a road untraveled. We do not always know where it will lead, what challenges will rise, or what blessings will bloom along the way. And sometimes when we look ahead, the fog of uncertainty makes it hard to see even the next step. That is when we must remember that guidance from above does not always come in thunder or lightning. It comes softly, steadily, like the morning light creeping over the horizon. We in our human hurry want answers now. We want clarity printed in bold letters across the sky. But God, in His wisdom, teaches us patience. He leads us not by the map, but by the moment. Each sunrise is His invitation to trust again. Each breath we take is a reminder that we are being guided even when we cannot see the road ahead. Guidance begins with surrender. The kind of surrender that says, Lord, I don't know what's best, but You do. Take my hand and show me where to go. It's not weakness to depend on God. It's the truest form of strength. For when we lean into His will, we are no longer driven by fear, but directed by faith. Sometimes God's guidance feels like stillness. Sometimes it feels like delay. Sometimes it feels like doors closing when all you wanted was one to open. But every no from heaven carries a not yet or a not this way in its wings. Every pause has purpose. Every detour has divine design. You see, the Creator of the universe does not make mistakes. He makes miracles out of what we thought were missteps. When you find yourself lost in confusion, don't be ashamed to stop and pray. Don't be afraid to whisper, "Guide me, Lord." There is no prayer too small, no moment too ordinary for the ear of God. He listens not to the eloquence of your words, but to the sincerity of your heart. Guidance flows through stillness, through quiet reflection, through the peace that follows prayer. Oh, how often we run ahead of God. We rush into decisions, into relationships, into battles not meant for us. We listen to the noise of the crowd and forget to seek the voice of the Creator. But when we pause, when we wait, when we listen, really listen, the Spirit begins to speak. He may not shout, but He will surely guide. He may not give you the full picture, but he will give you the next step. And that, my dear, is all you need. Just one step of obedience, one step of faith. Because divine guidance is not about seeing the whole staircase. It is about trusting that each step will hold when you place your foot upon it. The Lord's guidance is not only about direction, it's about transformation. As He leads us, He shapes us, He refines our patience, strengthens our character, and deepens our faith. Guidance is God's way of teaching us that we do not walk by sight but by trust. When you pray for guidance, be prepared for God to change you before He changes your situation. He may not remove the storm, but He will give you the wisdom to navigate it. He may not reveal the path all at once, but He will give you enough light to move forward without fear. Remember this, beloved. Guidance often comes disguised as grace. That unexpected delay that kept you from harm. That uneasy feeling that warned you not to go. That sudden peace that came when you finally let go. These are not coincidences. They are divine compass points guiding you back to your purpose. Sometimes guidance feels lonely. It may lead you away from familiar faces and comfortable places. It may ask you to walk roads that few understand. But don't you fret. The lonely road of obedience is always lined with angels. God walks with you step by step, even when your path takes you through the wilderness. For it is in the wilderness that we learn who we truly are and whose we truly are. God's guidance is not a single moment. It is a lifelong melody. It hums through every decision, every change, every quiet cry of the heart. It calls you to trust that wherever you are today is not by accident. And wherever you are going, He has already been there preparing the way. Let me tell you, beloved, there will be times when you look back on your life and realize that what you thought was chaos was really choreography. What you thought was delay was divine timing. What you thought was rejection was God's redirection. And you will bow your head, smile, and say, "Now I see." Guidance is God's love in motion. It is His way of saying, "I care too much to let you go your own way." It's His hand gently turning your face toward light when you've stared too long into the dark. It's His voice reminding you that even when you've wandered, the road home is never too far. So as you walk through this week, let your prayer be simple. Guide me, Lord. Say it in the morning light. Say it in the evening hush. Say it when you're unsure, when you're afraid, when you're tired of waiting. And believe that heaven hears you. Believe that your steps are ordered, your journey protected, your purpose unfolding right on time. Even when it feels like nothing is moving, God is guiding. Even when you can't trace His hand, you can trust His heart. He is not only the author of your story, He is the one holding the pen. Let peace be your compass and faith your map. Trust that every wrong turn can still lead to right places when God is your guide. And when you don't know what comes next, remember, you don't have to. You only need to know who walks beside you. And oh, He walks close, child. Closer than breath, nearer than heartbeat. He guides not from afar, but from within. So listen closely, follow gently, and rest deeply in the knowing that you are being led not by luck, not by chance, but by love itself. There is a quiet power in renewal, a holy rhythm in resilience. Life, my beloved, will test you of that. There is no doubt the winds will blow hard, the rains will fall heavy, and sometimes the very ground beneath your feet will tremble. But understand this, the shaking does not come to destroy you. It comes to reveal what cannot be shaken. Every storm that visits your life arrives with a purpose, to wash away what is weak so that what is strong may remain. You may think you are tired beyond repair, worn down by the trials of yesterday, uncertain about tomorrow. But the truth is, God never allows the flame within you to die. He may let it dim, He may let the night grow long, but dawn always returns. Renewal is not an event, it is a promise, a whisper from heaven saying you can begin again. So when your heart feels heavy and your hope runs low, remember you are not finished. You are being remade. God does not discard what He loves, He rebuilds it stronger. Like the potter reshaping clay that has fallen in his hands, the Lord takes your cracks, your tears, your mistakes, and molds them into something sacred. What you thought was the end was only the beginning of another chapter in your becoming. There is beauty in the breaking, child. There is strength in the stretching. And though your spirit may ache beneath the weight of change, trust that something divine is taking place within you. For every broken piece, every shattered dream is being rearranged by holy hands. What once was pain will soon become purpose. What once was loss will soon become lesson. Do not mistake fatigue for failure. Even eagles grow weary before they soar again. There are seasons meant for flight and seasons meant for rest. God in his infinite wisdom created both. The seed must fall before it grows. The tree must shed before it blooms. Renewal always requires release. Sometimes, my dear, you have to let go of what was so. Your hands are free to receive what is coming. There is a resilience woven into your soul, one that no disappointment can undo. It is the same resilience that brought your ancestors through storm and sorrow, the same sacred endurance that has carried you through every long night you thought would never end. That strength runs deep like rivers under stone, unseen but unstoppable. It is the spirit of survival dressed in grace. And hear me when I say this. The trials you face are not evidence of God's absence, but of his trust. He knows what he placed inside of you. He knows the strength of your spirit, the courage of your heart, the faith that flickers but never fails. You are being stretched not to break, but to grow. Growth always comes with discomfort. But out of that discomfort your soul learns to dance again, your voice learns to sing again, and your heart learns to believe again. You may feel wounded, yes, but you are not weak. You are healing in motion. Every breath you take in faith, every tear you shed in surrender, every time you choose to rise instead of retreat, you are declaring victory. You are saying to the universe, I will not be undone by what I have endured. Resilience is not the absence of pain, it is the decision to keep walking despite it. It is looking at your scars and saying, this did not destroy me, it defined me. Those scars are not symbols of shame but of survival. They are the proof that you have faced the fire and come through refined, not reduced. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply keep breathing, keep believing, keep showing up when everything in you says stay down. That persistence is holy. It is sacred rebellion against despair. It is your soul saying, I may be tired, but I am still here. Do not rush the renewal. Let God work his masterpiece in his own time. The flowers do not bloom by force, they unfold by faith. So must you. Each sunrise is proof that darkness cannot hold dominion forever. No matter how heavy the night, the morning always comes, and with it the promise of another chance. And while you wait for that light, remember that God is working in the shadows. He does his best shaping in the silence. The world may not see it, but within you, something sacred is shifting. You are learning patience, compassion, endurance, the quiet powers of the Spirit that make you unshakable. The people around you may not understand your resilience. They may wonder how you keep smiling when everything seems to be falling apart, but that's because they don't see what you see. They don't know the secret conversation between your heart and heaven. They don't know that when you fall, grace catches you. That when you cry, love listens. That when you falter, faith lifts you. God has placed in you a rhythm that echoes eternity. No matter what happens, you find a way to rise. Like the tide that keeps returning to shore. Like the sun that insists on shining after every storm, you rise. Not because life is easy, but because your spirit remembers its source. You rise because within you dwells the breath of the Almighty, the same power that raised the dead, the same love that spoke the stars into being. So hold on, my friend. Hold on to the thread of hope that still glimmers in the dark. Hold on to the quiet, knowing that this moment, this ache, this waiting, this rebuilding is not wasted. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. And when your renewal comes, it will not be a return to what was. It will be the unveiling of what is greater, wiser, freer than before. There will come a day when you look back on this season and say, I thought I was breaking, but I was really being built. That is the truth of resilience. It transforms your pain into power, your sorrow into strength, your wounds into wisdom. You do not come out the same. You come out radiant, refined, and ready for what's next. So lift your chin, beloved. Wipe your tears. Breathe in grace. You are not merely surviving. You are resurrecting. Every step you take toward hope is an act of defiance against despair. Every prayer you whisper is a spark that lights your soul again. You were never meant to stay in the ashes. You were born to rise from them, glowing with the brilliance of a soul that has met the fire and found God waiting on the other side. Renewal is not a gift for the lucky. It is a promise for the faithful. And you, my dear, have been faithful. Keep going, keep trusting, keep believing, for the God who began a good work in you will never leave it unfinished. You are living proof that resilience is not just survival, it is the art of being reborn again and again by grace, by love, by the unbreakable hand of God. There is a certain holiness in stillness, my beloved. In a world that spins too fast, where noise is constant and peace feels fleeting, the soul aches for quiet. Not the kind of silence that feels empty, but the kind that feels sacred, the kind that allows the voice of God to be heard beneath the clamor of the world. The power of presence, the strength of stillness, these are the gifts the Spirit gives to those who have learned to stop running and simply be. When we are still, we come face to face with the truth of who we are. No more pretending, no more performing, no more hiding behind the noise of busyness. Stillness reveals what chaos conceals. It invites us to rest not only our bodies but our hearts. It whispers to our weary souls, peace, be still, and in that whisper heaven breathes into us again. We live in a world addicted to motion. People rush to and fro, filling their days with endless doing, chasing approval, chasing success, chasing something, anything that will make the noise quiet down. But my dear, you can run for years and never find peace until you learn to stand still in the presence of the Lord. Stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of meaning. It is the moment when you realize that you are enough, that you are loved, that you are held right here, right now. There is power in pausing. There is wisdom in waiting. The greatest strength sometimes comes not from fighting, but from listening. For God rarely shouts. He speaks in whispers, in gentle nudges, in quiet convictions that stir deep within the soul, and only in stillness can we hear him clearly. When the world grows loud and the burdens pile high, we often cry, Lord, speak to me. But the truth, child, is that he has been speaking all along. We have just been too busy to listen. We have drowned out the divine with the noise of our own striving. Yet the moment we pause, the moment we breathe, the moment we lean into stillness, we begin to hear the music of heaven once more. Stillness teaches us that we do not need to chase what God has already ordained. What is meant for you will not pass you by. When you stand in the presence of peace, you begin to understand that no door closed by God is a loss, and no delay is denial. The waiting place becomes a holy place, and the quiet becomes a classroom. There is beauty in simply sitting with God, not asking, not demanding, just being. Like a child resting against the heart of a loving parent, you find safety in his presence. You find calm in his consistency. You find strength in his stillness. And oh, how this world needs more people who know how to be still. People who can sit in the middle of the storm and yet know peace. People who can be surrounded by chaos and still hear the gentle hum of grace. People who understand that strength is not proven by how much you can do, but by how deeply you can trust. Stillness does not mean life will be free from storms. It means that the storms no longer have the power to shake you. The winds may howl, but your roots are deep. The waves may crash, but your anchor holds. You learn in time that the voice of God can calm not just the sea around you, but the storm within you. Presence is the twin sister of stillness. To be present is to open your eyes to the holy in the ordinary. It is to see God's fingerprints in the small things, the morning sun, the sound of laughter, the warmth of another's hand. It is to live not in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's fears, but in the sacred now. For this very moment, this breath, this heartbeat, is a gift from God. When you live in presence, you stop missing miracles. You begin to see that even the smallest moments are filled with divine purpose. You realize that peace is not something you find out there. It is something you awaken to within yourself. God's presence is not distant. It is dwelling in you, waiting for you to notice. Stillness is not laziness, my dear. It is reverence. It is the sacred acknowledgement that you do not need to fix, force, or figure everything out. When you stand still, you give God permission to move. When you stop trying to control, He begins to create. When you quiet your thoughts, His wisdom rises like the dawn. There will be times when silence feels uncomfortable, when stillness feels unnatural. The world will tell you that you are wasting time, that you should be doing more, achieving more, proving more. But the Spirit will whisper, "Be still and know that I am God." And in that knowing, peace will flood you like sunlight through an open window. Stillness is not the absence of life. It is the presence of awareness. It is the moment when your soul catches up with your body and your spirit, remembers that it is eternal. It is a meeting place between heaven and earth, between what is temporary and what is everlasting. When you practice stillness, you begin to hear the language of your own soul. You notice when your heart needs rest, when your mind needs release, when your body needs renewal. And in that listening, you become aligned with the rhythm of grace. God does not need you to shout to hear you. He does not need grand gestures to bless you. He simply needs your presence, your willingness to stop running and let Him love you where you are. When you become still, you realize that you were never lost, never abandoned, never alone. You were simply too distracted to see that God had been beside you all along. So take this moment, this breath, this sacred pause. Sit in the quiet and let your soul exhale. Let the weight fall from your shoulders. Let the worry slip through your fingers. Let your heart be light again. The world will wait. Heaven can't. For in stillness you find your strength. In presence you find your peace. And when you rise again, refreshed and renewed, the world will look the same, but you will not. You will walk slower, speak softer, love deeper. You will carry calm wherever you go, not because life has changed, but because you have. So rest, child. Be still. Let God do what only He can do in the silence. Let Him remind you that peace is not a destination, it is your inheritance. The power of stillness is the power of surrender. And in that surrender you will find everything you were searching for all along. Hope, my dear one, is the light that refuses to bow before the night. It is a quiet flame that flickers in the heart when every candle seems to have burned out. Hope is God's whisper saying, "Hold on, child, the story isn't over yet." And love? Love is the heartbeat of heaven itself. Together, hope and love are the twin wings that lift the weary soul, the sacred melody that hums beneath every prayer, the eternal promise that even in the darkest valley we are not alone. When the world grows heavy and your spirit feels small, hope rises from within like dawn breaking over a sleepless city. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand, it simply shines. Hope is stubborn. It does not depend on circumstances. It lives beyond the evidence, beyond the pain, beyond the reason to keep going. Hope says, even now, even here, something good is coming. There will be days when you cannot feel it, when the weight of life presses down and you wonder if the light will ever return. But that's when hope does its best work, quietly, unseen, holding your heart together when everything else falls apart. Hope is not the denial of suffering, it is the belief that suffering will not have the final word. Love is the same. It is not fragile, it is fierce, it does not abandon, it endures. Love is God's signature upon your soul, the reminder that you were made not just to survive, but to be cherished, to be chosen, to be seen. You are never outside the reach of divine love, no matter how far you've wandered, no matter how broken you feel. God's love is not earned, it is breathed. It is the sacred air that fills the lungs of your spirit. When the week stretches long and your courage runs thin, remember this: you are held by a love that cannot fail. It is older than time, deeper than sorrow, stronger than fear. You may stumble, but love will catch you. You may fall, but love will lift you. You may feel forgotten, but love has already written your name on the palm of eternity. And from that love flows peace, the kind of peace the world cannot give and cannot take away. A peace that lives not in perfect circumstances, but in perfect trust. When you walk with hope and rest in love, peace becomes your steady companion. It silences the chaos within and whispers, "All is well, even if all is not yet easy." So many people walk through life hungry for peace, searching for it in success, in possessions, in the approval of others. But peace cannot be found in what changes. It lives in what endures, and what endures is the presence of God, unshaken, unwavering, unfailing. Peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the awareness of divine companionship in the midst of it. To walk in peace is to walk with God. It is to know that though the storms rage, the one who commands the wind walks beside you. It is to understand that you do not have to control the outcome, you only have to trust the process. Every morning you wake, peace greets you at the edge of your bed, whispering, "You are here, you are loved, you have another chance." This is why we pray, my dear. Not because God forgets us, but because prayer reminds us that we are never forgotten. Prayer is the conversation that keeps hope alive. It is the bridge between the weary heart and the everlasting love that sustains it. And in that sacred dialogue, peace is born again and again. You see, when you carry hope, when you live in love, when you walk in peace, you become a sanctuary. The world will look at you and see calm where there should be chaos, light where there should be darkness, grace where there should be fear. That is the evidence of God's hand upon you. That is the power of faith lived out loud. Hope is contagious, love is magnetic, peace is healing. When you walk in these gifts, you become a mirror reflecting heaven to the world around you. You begin to lift others without even trying, because the peace within you spills into every room you enter. You become without effort a vessel of grace. Never forget, dear heart, that hope is a choice. Love is a commitment. Peace is a discipline. There will be days when your faith wavers, when your heart aches, when your mind wrestles with doubt. But if you can pause, breathe, and whisper, "God, I trust you," something sacred begins to shift. You are not asking for the storm to stop. You are asking for the strength to stand still within it. And that strength comes from knowing that you are never walking alone. Even in your loneliest hour, even in your most uncertain season, God is there, not as a distant observer, but as a close companion. His presence fills the quiet moments between your breaths. His love wraps around you like a warm garment in winter. His peace steadies you when the world tilts and sways. There will be people who do not understand your calm. They will wonder how you keep smiling through struggle, how you keep standing when everything seems to be falling. They will think you have no worries, no pain. But you will know the truth. It is not that you are unshaken. It is that you are anchored in the deep waters of faith, tied to the eternal promise that God's love never fails. Hope, love, and peace are not luxuries. They are necessities for the soul. They are the nourishment that keeps your spirit alive. Feed on them daily. Water them with prayer. Protect them from the noise of negativity and the temptation to despair. For when hope grows dim, love will fan its flame, and when love feels weary, peace will hold it steady. These three woven together will carry you through every season, every trial, every unknown road ahead. So as you step into the rest of this week, lift your head high. Let hope be your morning song, love your daily breath, and peace your evening prayer. Remember that you are surrounded by a love that will never let you go, guided by a peace that passes all understanding, and renewed each day by a hope that cannot die. Whatever the world takes, these cannot be taken from you. Whatever darkness threatens, these lights cannot be extinguished. You are and will always be wrapped in the endless embrace of God's love. And that, my beloved, is reason enough to rise again tomorrow with hope in your heart, peace in your mind, and love lighting your way.